Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Blepnir. I'm a member of the Pallet Town community, and today I wanted to go over my battles using GALARIAN Zapdos in the Willpower Cup. GALARIAN Zapdos is a very cool Pokemon. It has access to Counter, Ancient Power, Brave Bird, Close Combat. It's a flying and fighting type, which is it's the only flying and fighting type in the game so far. So it's very unique in its weaknesses and strengths. In the Willpower Cup, I think that it has a lot of play just because the Willpower Cup is very reliant on sweeping, which is where you basically choose a Pokemon in the back that will take out your opponent's entire team. And in this case, the Galarian Zapdos is very good at that because it can counter down a lot of stuff in the Willpower Cup and then come out with a lot of energy to throw Ancient Powers and close combats and perhaps Brave Birds at the enemy. In this case, I am using Galarian Zapdos with Counter, Ancient Power, and Close Combat. That's because Close Combat's a little bit cheaper of a move than Brave Bird, and I just wanted to have a cheaper move to get to because Galarian Zapdos does so much damage no matter what, and Brave Bird just seemed like overkill. I don't think I really needed Brave Bird in these matches that we are doing today. I have Sneasler as a safe swap to bait out whatever Galarian Zapdos might be weak to in the back, and it does a pretty good job of that because it baits out a lot of psychic types like Alolan Raichu, like Wobbuffet, like Gothitelle. It can do quick work of those psychic types just because it is neutral to Charm. It takes neutral damage from Charm, and so it can really stick up to those psychic types. Shadow Claw does super effective damage. It has X Scissor, which does super effective damage. And it has Close Combat, which actually really threatens the Mandibuzz. And as you're going to see here, it actually forces shields out of Mandibuzz, which is absolutely huge. The Hisuian Qwilfish in the front has actually a pretty unique moveset, which we kind of discovered by accident because I did not TM my Hisuian Qwilfish. I just used it with the moves it got, and it happened to get Poison Sting as the fast move as opposed to Poison Jab. It got Aqua Tail as a charge move, and it also got Ice Beam as a charge move. And this specific moveset has been working very well for us in the front, so we are just going to try it here. Once again, I think that this team has a lot of play. It's a lot of fun. It's a little bit technical. It's hard to know when to throw your charge moves, when to farm down. If you can figure out those situations, then this team is absolutely unstoppable. So let's see how these battles go. Oh, and by the way, guys, I almost forgot to mention that you guys should check out the description down below for links to Pallet Town's resources such as our Discord, our Patreon, we have a Twitch channel, we have a YouTube channel, obviously, that you're watching right now. And if you guys could just leave us a follow, we would really appreciate that. So let's see how these battles go. So first off, we have our Hisuian Qwilfish into a Wobbuffet. This is an okay lead, just because the Wobbuffet is going to be scared of our Shadow Ball. We do not have Shadow Ball. We have Ice Beam, but we can threaten a Shadow Ball for sure. And the Wobbuffet is so slow to charge up on energy that we can just throw out these charge moves. They no-shield the Ice Beam, which does a really good chunk of damage to the Wobbuffet. The Wobbuffet might expect us to have Ice Beam instead of Shadow Ball, but regardless, we do a huge chunk to it. And then they actually come into a Gallade. So they are running a team very similar to the team that I used to get Legend, which is Wobbuffet in the lead, Gallade in the back. But in this case, they actually let the Gallade go. So that's not a great situation. Let's see what they have. Their third Pokemon is a Alolan Raticate. So this is a very spicy team. Alolan Raticate is not something that you see very often in this meta. But in this case, I think that it's going to really hurt them because I have the Galarian Zapdos in the back. I am able to sweep this opponent. This is what I mean by sweep, is just absolutely take out one of the opponent's Pokemon. You can see there that they crunched. That did not do a lot of damage. And then the opponent just switches, just quits out of the game there. So that is what I mean by sweeping. That's basically just the idea of countering down the opponent here. See how much damage I got. I got so much damage that the opponent actually didn't even want to continue the match because they were so confident that I would win. I do not think that this game was over. Maybe they were giving me the match, but definitely having all this energy puts Galarian Zapdos into a very good position. So regardless, let's go into our next matchup. Let's see how we do. We've got a matchup versus Cesar. We've got our Qwilfish into a Mandibuzz. So this is actually one of the reasons why I decided to keep Ice Beam on my Qwilfish, because the Mandibuzz is so dominant in this league and you see it so often. And this is actually a very good matchup if Qwilfish has Ice Beam, because that first Ice Beam puts them into a range where I actually CMP tie them. They are at a move here. They are about to throw their move. I throw my Aqua Tail, and then they indeed CMP tie me. So because we charge move priority timed, I go first because I have the higher attack, and then they're forced to throw their Aerial Ace. So now they are very low on health, on energy. I already have a move, and they're not at a move yet. So they do go down. You can see there how I take out the Mandibuzz very easily. And then they have a Medicham and a Hisuian Rapidash in the back. A Galarian Rapidash, sorry, not Hisuian. A Galarian Rapidash and a Mandibuzz and a Medicham in the back. And that is game over for the opponent. They just quit out there because their whole backline loses to the Hisuian Sneasler. So that's why Sneasler is just so amazingly powerful in this league. And so here we're seeing another reason why the Poison Sting, Ice Beam, Aqua Tail, Qwilfish is so strong. You're seeing how well it takes care of this Skuntank. It just absolutely adheres to the Skuntank. It gets to these charge moves so quickly. Does so much energy damage with these charge moves. Having access to Ice Beam as opposed to Shadow Ball allows me to get this Skuntank way lower. I take the Flamethrower just barely. I have a little bit of energy on the Qwilfish, a little bit of health, and then they come into a Alolan Raichu. And this is not a good matchup, folks, because I'm doing super effective damage with the Shadow Claws. I have a 2-turn move, so I am able to sneak through moves here. And I do have access to X-Scissor, which is going to do super effective damage to the Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu is very squishy, so the X-Scissor would easily take him out from this range. So they are forced to shield. They're forced to throw their energy, and here I'm actually thinking that I am going to counter all the way down. So this is very scary because the Galarian Zapdos is quite frail, and it also takes super effective damage from the Volt Switches. But luckily, as you see there, look how much damage those counters did to the Alolan Raichu. Let's go back a bit. So the Alolan Raichu comes in. It gets off one. It gets off 2 Volt Switches. It had a lot of health, and it's taking not very effective damage from the counters. But because of the fact that Galarian Zapdos is just so incredibly high attack, it's able to take out the Raichu before it gets to a 3rd Volt Switch. And because of that, we're in a pretty good spot here. We can just Ancient Power this Victini. Victini takes super effective damage from the Ancient Power. So a Brave Bird would have taken them out from that range, but Ancient Power is enough to do the job. They don't have any shields left. And you see I get the unnecessary boost at the end there. So it always feels good to get a boost. I am glad to see that. And so here, so Victini is fairly common in the 3000 elo range, and we did see a lot of Victini. So this is where this team is really nice, because really every member of my team has a lot of play versus Victini, especially because Hisuian Quillfish gets to these Aquatails so quickly. I do just barely tank a V-Crate. It is very painful, but I don't take the second one because Sneasler is much more fragile than the Hisuian Quillfish, so I would not be able to survive that. And then they come in with a Zweilous. This is a questionable play. I should have farmed all the way up to the close combat, so at the very least they might think I'm threatening close combat, but they shield. So now they are forced to throw their energy. You see there, they actually got to the X-Scissor. It might have been the correct play to throw the X-Scissor, but instead I hold off, and that's because I'm trying to sweep with the Zapdos once again. So we've seen it before. Let's see if we can see it again. Once again, the Zapdos serves as a sweeper. Hopefully it can take out this entire Zweilous and have so much energy that it can take out the opponent's remaining 2 Pokemon. And they have an Umbreon in the back. So this is looking okay. I do have double close combats here. So this is still a scary situation because the Umbreon is going to be able to take me out here. They do switch into the Victini at the same time as I switch into my Hisuian Quillfish, and I make the horrible mistake of getting farmed down on my Hisuian Quillfish. So you see there that I actually had an Aquatail, but I did not throw it. I allowed the Hisuian Quillfish to get farmed down, and that was my lose con. So that was a very close endgame there. I just want to highlight that again. So we were at a very sticky situation where the Umbreon was just about to get to a move, but I still had a Hisuian Quillfish with a little bit of energy left. So I switched into the Hisuian Quillfish, anticipating that they would throw their move onto Umbreon, but instead they swapped. And so I could have thrown my Aquatail here, and if I did, then I would at least have a chance to defeat the opposing Umbreon. It's looking here like I actually probably would get snarled down if I did decide to throw my Aquatail there, but it would have been close because I did have a good bit of energy. So definitely not throwing the Aquatail there is my lose con. I do end up just getting foul played here. So good game to my opponent. The win con once again was to just to sweep with the Galarian Zapdos, but we weren't able to do that. If we had been able to catch the foul play, if they had thrown the foul play, we probably would have won there. But our opponent played very well. So here we have a Tyranitar. We do like to see a Tyranitar because all of our Pokemon have play versus Tyranitar. This Hisuian Quillfish is able to threaten a whole lot with those super effective Aquatails. And now my Sneasler is taking resisted damage from these smackdowns from this Crunch. The Crunch still does a ton of damage, of course, because of the fact that a Crunch from a Tyranitar is a very strong move. Tyranitar is a very heavy-hitting Pokemon. So the Gothitelle actually takes our X-Scissor, which is really nice because that chunks the Gothitelle. They do have to shield here if they want to preserve the Gothitelle, because after this I would be able to farm them down. So they don't shield. I should be able to farm them down. Yes, I do farm them down right before they get to the Rock Slide. And then they have a Skuntank in the back. So once again, the Quillfish is able to really fire back with this Ice Beam. It's really nice to have Ice Beam instead of Aquatail there so that I can definitely get to it. And the Skuntank is going to get all the way farmed down. This is the Zapdos sweeping in action. This is what Zapdos is meant to do. And then they come in with the Tyranitar. So the Zapdos is able to just decimate in the back because counter does so much damage. And especially when you don't have any real defense against counter, and one of your Pokemon is double weak to counter, that is a game over. So next up we have Deoxys in the lead. This is okay. The Deoxys might think that I have Shadow Ball. They might not think that I have Shadow Ball, or even just think that they can tank the Shadow Ball. And so I decide to switch to my Sneasler, which is my safe swap. They switch into a Hisuian Quillfish. This is good for me because The Hisuian Quillfish is not going to be able to hit me for a whole lot of damage with these moves. The Aquatail doesn't put me into farm down range yet. I still can get off a lot of energy here with these X Scissors. I will throw the close combat after this X Scissor. So they do shield once. Let's see if they want a double shield. They might think this is a close combat, and boom! We take him out. Look how much damage that does. Hisuian Quillfish is not a very fragile Pokemon. That is a lot of damage. That is beautiful. Sneasler just putting in work. This is why Sneasler is so deadly in this cup, because it gets to those close combats so quickly and those X Scissors so quickly. It's able to bait and throw a close combat even at very low health. So the Defense Deoxys comes back in, and they don't get a lot of farm, so we are looking in an okay position. I do throw the Ice Beam here. I'm thinking that they might actually no shield at this point for some reason. If this was a Shadow Ball, it would all but take them out, but they decide to no shield regardless, which is good for me. I do shield this because I do want to preserve this energy on the Hisuian Quillfish. They come into a Mandibuzz, and this is fine because this is still going to chunk the Mandibuzz. It would have been nice to get off an Ice Beam, but we are going to have a good situation here with the Zapdos. Look at Zapdos bouncing. That is an insane attack animation. But you see that I actually let through an Air Slash. So this is actually not looking good here. But we get the boost! We get the boost. The boost was our win con. So the fact that we got a attack and defense boost there. Let's see it again. We got the double boost, the boost to attack, boost to defense, and the fact that we got that means that this next Ancient Power is going to kill them. So they called that first, they shielded that first one because they were thinking that maybe it was a Brave Bird or close combat. But I will be able to take out this Deoxys with an Aqua Tail. The Deoxys wasn't quite able to get to double Psycho Boost. I did have a shield, so this is going to be a good game. The Quillfish sweeping in the back with the very quick farm to Aqua Tail. And so once again, Victini was pretty common in this meta range, and it's really good to see Victini. It's good to see Lucario too. We have a very positive matchup versus Lucario here. I probably will switch to the Galarian Zapdos after this. No, I let them throw their move. This is just a power-up punch. So I think that they will get to a Shadow Ball here. No, they don't get to a Shadow Ball. I forgot how glassy Lucario is. Look how much counter damage that Lucario is taking. Oh my gosh, these counters are looking like charge moves. They do so much damage to the Lucario, and this is a non-boosted Zapdos doing that. So just an insane show of strength from Zapdos. And so they come back in with the Victini. This is why this team is so strong, because all three of the Pokemon have a lot of play versus Victini, and there are not a lot of teams like that in the 3000s. There are a lot of Charm teams, and Charm teams are pretty weak to Victini. So I do not think that there are very many teams that are triple strong to Victini like this team is, that's for sure. So they take out my Zapdos, which is fine. They're now double debuffed on their Victini. I can come into Sneasler. I can hopefully farm them down. I don't quite farm them down. They get to these V-Creates so quickly. It's insane. Maybe after this V-Create, they will die. They actually survive with a little bit of health, but they have no shields left. And they have a Zweilous in the back. So this is game over, folks. This is the boom I've been waiting for. Boom! Look at that! Close combat onto the Zweilous. That is over 90% of their health. That is like 95% of their health right there. Decimated. And Zweilous is not an incredibly glassy Pokemon. So it's just showing how powerful Sneasler is when it can throw its charge moves. And so here we have the Poniard in the front. The Poniard actually has a pretty negative matchup versus the Hisuian Quillfish. Because of the fact that Hisuian Quillfish charges so quickly, they actually throw the Night Slash. So I was going to say that Hisuian Quillfish can force a shield from the Poniard if they throw an Iron Head, because of the fact that it gets to these fast moves these charge moves so quickly, and because the Poniard isn't able to fast move down the Quillfish before it gets to 3 charge moves. But the Hisuian Quillfish, the Poniard actually baited with a Night Slash, which you're going to see Poniards do from time to time, just because they know that I'm probably going to shield the first move. And then afterwards, they shield my move, and then they switch into Mana Buzz, so we have a shield advantage. And as I said before, the Galarian Zapdos relies a lot on sweeping in the back with a shield advantage. So the fact that we have a shield advantage here is very good. We are able to take out this Mana Buzz, and then they're going to come back in with their first Pokemon, right? With their Poniard, and we are able to almost take out the Poniard. So close. This is just a Night Slash. It is an Iron Head. So I was anticipating them to bait with the Night Slash, but they did throw the Iron Head, which was the correct move. And then they have a Cresselia in the back, so this is still a scary situation. The Ancient Power gets blocked. We get the boost again. That is insane. They actually quit the match. I don't think that this match was necessarily over, but I did have a shield advantage. So let's see it once again. Let's go back to the end of the last match and see if they still had a chance. So I got a boost. I had a decent bit of energy after this Ancient Power. I definitely would get to another Ancient Power or Close Combat. Close Combat would do a little more damage here. And then the Hisuian Quillfish would probably be able to close out the match, but it would have been close. So it's possible that our opponent was just tanking here. They did not intend to win the matchup. We are seeing a lot of tankers, a lot of people that have reached Legend and are going down the ranks right now, which, I'm very grateful for myself, because that's probably the reason why I was able to reach Legend yesterday. Was just a bunch of people that weren't really trying. And in my case, I definitely feel like I can run whatever I want. I wanted to run the Galarian Zapdos ever since I got it a few days ago. And now that I hit Legend, I do feel confident using it, and it's done really well. I'm very happy with my Galarian Zapdos. So if you guys are lucky enough to catch this Galarian Zapdos, I highly recommend using it in really any league. It's great in the Great League. It's great in the Ultra League. It's great in the Master League. In every league, it has a lot of play, and it's very, very fun to use. It's so powerful. It hits so hard. And as we've seen in these matchups, it's especially good at sweeping in the back. So if you can counter down one of your opponent's Pokemon, you can just fire off those Ancient Powers, those Close Combats, perhaps get a boost. We did see a lot of boosts. So if you guys have a Galarian Zapdos, if you have a Sneasler, if you want to try out some unique moves on your Hisuian Quillfish, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm here to offer my help. I'm here to walk you through your team. So if you guys want me to do that, I'm available on Discord. I'm available through Twitch. You can find my Twitch link down below. I hope you guys are having fun in the Go Battle League. Hope you're having fun in Pokemon Go. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.